Well, it is Thursday, August 29th, 2024, 7:27 in the AM. And we just got out of the marina at DeTour. Making noise. And got a little sail on it right away. Looks like a favorable sail all the way to Mackinaw City today. And we have the Algoma Harvester. That's one of probably 4 or 5 Algomas, maybe 6, that we've seen in the last couple, 3 days. Trying to do too much at once here. I don't know where I was pointing the camera. Anyway, got a little tidying up and trimming to do here, so we'll finish that up and continue later. Marquette.
So the K.E. Barker we saw in Marquette is now coming up behind us. So the shipping lane is busy this morning. Not surprising. Whole string of loopers. Several have already left, a few behind. All making their way to Chicago, I imagine, eventually.
The inverse of salmon swimming upstream is loopers headed for the river. So some of these rollers look pretty impressive coming in. Anyway, it is about 9:20. So we've been off the dock for a couple hours now probably. And as soon as we rounded the bend coming out of the St. Mary's River, the wind directly at our backs, and better pay attention here so we don't do an accidental jibe. Been thinking about going up and getting the whisker pole rigged. That's what it's for, but I do a bunch of fancy rigging like that, and I seem to get busted for it every time. As soon as I do it, something changes and I've done it for nothing. But it's been pretty consistent for over an hour now, so maybe I'll go up and do that. But
DeTour Harbor Master.
the waves are getting a little more violent.
16.
So maybe I won't get too excited to get thrown all over the place up there.
Me neither.
And even though we're almost dead before the wind, the waves are not coming on directly astern, so the bow is drawing circles around the horizon up here. A little challenging to steer. Anything to add, hun? Having fun?
Today has not.
DeTour Harbor Master. DeTour Harbor Master. This is sailboat Frog and Toad on 16.
Okay, turn that off, because that can be relied on to go off every time we try to talk on the camera.
Anyway, the mood and the atmosphere today is not very.
No, quite a bit of cussing while we were trying to get. We started out sailing down the St. Mary's River, kind of close hauled, close reach to a close hauled, and I was afraid that when we rounded the bend there, we would probably end up with the wind right on our tail, and that's exactly what happened. So we tried sailing off the angle to the wind, more towards actually Sheboygan, and that's about where we had to sail to be able to keep the winds or the sails filled and keep them from slatting and everything, making a racket and everything. So and that was just too far off our course. It was roughly 90 degrees to where we wanted to go. So decided, well, I'll get rid of the jib and get the boom brake all set up, and we'll just run directly before the wind, see how consistent things are, and maybe get the jib pulled out a little later. I haven't decided yet again whether I'm going to do that or not. We haven't used the whisker pole in this boat yet, and I think I got it set up on the dock last year so that I've got the lengths and everything marked, but I can't remember. I won't know until I get up there. Anyway, I better get back to steering. We're going to have an accidental jibe here. There's the Martin Reef light out there. And we're still getting pretty violently tossed around by this secondary swell that's coming in from our port quarter. Hasn't been too bad for the last few minutes, but for a while there, it was a little miserable.
Yes.
And the motion itself doesn't bother me so much. It's
The slatting.
the havoc it, plays on the rigging. Not to mention, I mean, it's just a constant effort to steer a heading. And I asked Michelle if she would care to wager on how long it is before we're back on the engine. She refused to wager. The wind is holding up. We're Where we were making 5 knots before, 4 is about all we can do now. We had been seeing in the neighborhood of 10 knots. We're down to 7 or 8 most of the time. Apparent. And it threatens to back enough that we could have an accidental jibe. And so all this combined is rather frustrating. Uh-oh, there it went. It was thinking about it, so not screwing around. Well, it is about 1:38 and we're just in the Round Island Passage off of Mackinaw Island on our way to Mackinaw City. After it hasn't been too bad lately, but not the most pleasant day of sailing. And when we finally got to a place where we're going to make a turn and have a more favorable sail with the wind that we have, the wind shifted, and so now it's right on our stern again. Well, it is Saturday, August 31st, 2024, about 11 o'clock in the morning, just after, and we're on the observation deck here in Mackinaw City, having spent 2 nights here already, and now looks like, yeah, that's right, 2 nights, and we may spend a third.
No, we're going to spend it third.
Tonight's the third. Yeah, how did we get to, yeah, so we're up to 4, possibly. Supposed to be a pretty good blow out of northwest tomorrow. And we're not really sure we want to bash into that all day to try to get down to Beaver Island or someplace like that. And the drawback is staying another night. The next day it's supposed to be calm. Virtually calm, less than 10 knots of wind, but we'll be motoring directly into it all day, and they're closing the bridge and half-a-mile radius around the bridge on the water from 6 a.m. to noon, so people can walk across the bridge. and so that means we're going to have to get up too early and get out of here so we can be under the bridge before 6. And little ferry dock over here, car elevator and all that. We're just, well, you can see the mast right over there. See if I can keep from falling down here. So we walk down to the south end of Mackinaw City, and it's just motel after motel after motel after motel. So it looks like the business of getting people to and from Mackinac Island and staging them for that is probably at least as big a business, if not bigger, than Mackinac Island itself. I had no idea. There's a brew pub back here we thought we'd go to this afternoon. We thought, well, it's so far away from all the stuff downtown that it might be a little quiet. It might not have quite the tourist traffic. Well, it's right in the middle of all the hotels. There's a reason it's there. Location, location, location.
All right, so again, very much by the book.
So still in Mackinaw City, and earlier today, I don't know if we mentioned it on camera, but we remarked about a Disney-like aspect to this town, and this kind of reinforces it. It is, oh shit, my Indiglo went out. 9:20, went out again.
On the 31st.
On, yeah, August 31st.
Labor Day weekend.